Today, I am just going through pictures off of pexels.com and practicing eyes in gouache. And I just finished kind of a introductory, exploratory video talking about Gibson Girls drawings, which are Victorian pen and ink drawings that were very famous, and a good way for you to see the kind of structure that are being used within eyes. Talked about a section off of the Bridgman's Guide, and we just did a little bit of sketching, and then just some gouache. So here's a separate video just looking at the gouache and eyes. So I'm just pulling up random eyes and looking at them. So without further ado, tear duct. Now the top, I'm looking for the pattern of the coming up, over, and that turn. And that is due to the curvature of the eyeball and just breaking it down into planes. We have that eyelid. We have where it recesses in. And for different people, this seems to be one of the biggest features that really varies amongst them. In the Gibson Girls, at first it was just up, over, down, just following that contour. And here we start seeing a lot of different folds. So that must be a very unique aspect of different people. And then eyelid, eyebrow is up here. Okay, now I'm just using just random paint off of the palette. I'm not really too worried about color, just working more with tone. I think a tone, light and dark, is going to be, for me, it's more important than color. That upper eyelid always seems to be very dark in value. We have the dark pupil, and I am doing gouache, which is a water media, and I can dry it off between stages. Here I'm just gonna fill in. Okay. Let's do a little dry off because there's some spots that I do need crisp. There's still areas that are definitely super wet, but I'll work with it. I mentioned in the last video that I need to tone this paper beforehand, and that has not happened yet, because the eye is not going to be white, it's going to be off-white, and having that toned will help out. Darkening those sides will help create the curvature of the eye. And that pupil, darkening that eyelid, or recessed in, eyebrow, and then we'll just grab whatever reconstituted white gouache we can, Once again, we have that highlight in that spot. And then this would recede down into the nose. That pocket triangle seems to be very common. I wonder if there's a name for that. Not that it's important. You see some painters refer to those different spots. And I think it helps. Like they'll be talking about like an orbital cavity or something like that, and that's referring to what's happening underneath the skin and why those folds are taking place. So that's the way they go about looking for those actions. I guess that's the kind of psychology of that. Some people don't. For example, landscape painters might say things get bluer as they recede. They're describing aerial perspective. So you can use that term aerial perspective, or you could just say things get blued down. They take off on the color of the air. But sometimes using a common language helps people see what's going on. Let me do a dry off. We'll do a dot for the light in the eye. Just put it right there. Another thing that I do see artists doing is putting the light underneath the bottom of that eyelid, where it'll catch, and then above we'll have that dark. I think that's light coming down, eyelids catching it, eyelashes catching it, and then the bottom part of the inside of the eyelid reflecting that. Let's see, here we go. We got this gentleman right here. And once again, tear duct. His is very smooth curvature. So it's not, so we're gonna have that 1, 2, 3, but his is more swoop. Same thing with that lower eyelid. I'm curious about like the age of these people. I think I mentioned that before, and how that changes. Ethnicities, how that changes from one ethnicity to another, if it does, if it doesn't. Did hear one painter talking about a plane on the lower side of the face interacting with the edge of the mouth, I think, and that varies for different ethnicities, like Asian, Caucasian, etc., which is very interesting. Now his eyebrow is all here and then curves. So let's darken that up. Comes around. Get a light wash. And that inside of the eye towards the nose. It's the light right here. We're gonna have to do a dry off in a second. looking for patterns, and we're looking for what's unique amongst that person. In general, it seems like the pattern is we want to darken that eye, the white of the eye. Is that the sclera? Is that what that's called? So it's not going to be pure white. I'm going to have to darken the iris. Another common pattern that we're seeing on almost all of them is that dark in the eyelid, so a darker tone right there, most likely due to eyelashes and light coming down, so it's catching that. Seeing darker on that inside fold, that first turn. This does seem to have a change here where this hood top part isn't the lightest. So we'll bring that over some. That's a little too dark, but it's okay. We'll just play it around back and forth. And then here, his unique feature, the eyebrow, coming down, up and over. Inside, so we have a curvature here. This one's a lot softer on people. It seems like the bottom portion as opposed to the top curve. Let's do a quick dry off so we can get some white on there and push back in the other direction. Now, also, this curve around the iris seems to be an important feature. Everybody's going to have a circular iris, so I don't think there's any deviation from person to person, but I think just in demonstrating an eye, that's important. Just like we're going to have darker here to create that illusion of an orb. Darker upper eyelid, indentation, there, curves, darker in here. Put a little bit of tone up on top. Let's see if we get our white. We could even add just highlights right here and show how that kind of falls across. Just, like I said, I think it's called the sclera. I think the sclera is a little too dark tonally here. So, this is about the fifth eye that I painted in a row. We're starting to see repeated patterns as well as unique features, but I'm also starting to get a little bit tired. So let me finish up this one and then we'll call it. And as per usual, please like, subscribe, comment. Any advice, any resources, any materials that you have that you would suggest, let me know. Just darken up that eye, the upper eyelid. See how it's looking. A little too light now. That the wash is too flat. So we need to kind of darken here to get that curve. Yeah, and I think that little darkening helped. Yeah, so like, subscribe, comment, please. Leave any questions, comments, questions. I always try to address those type of things. Of course, I have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel. And that goes to art supplies and goes to art books and all these different things. And yeah, I will talk to you all soon, and have a great night. Bye-bye.